Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name's GBay99, and today I'm going to be bringing you a full game commentary of top lane Urgot. I haven't really done full game commentaries before. I haven't actually done a commentary in a really long time. I thought my Mindset series was sort of going to be the series where I just do commentaries and more of an in-depth commentary that's more concise, so people can still get all the knowledge, but in a shorter period of time. But a while ago I released that Poppy commentary, and even though I cut out a lot of it, people still seem to really enjoy it, and even now, people still say that they like the Poppy commentary, but they'd like it to be longer, they'd like it to be the full game commentary with no cuts, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. And going off the theme from my last video of anyone anywhere is viable if you're good enough, I'm going to be playing Urgot in the top lane. This is not a ranked game. If you're curious, I'm not playing Urgot top lane in ranked, but this is a normal draft mode, which I believe this guy I'm laning against is Platinum right now. So it's still around the same skill level, although people are definitely trying things out, like me trying out this top lane Urgot. Getting right into the game though, we can see in my, as per usual, GBay fashion, I'm being very aggressive right off the bat. Rumble doesn't have a very strong level 1. Rumble's kill potential really kicks up at level 6, but this guy's, what he's doing is he's using his Flame Spitter and then walking forward and pressing the S button to stop and make sure that he's able to last hit minions at the very edge of his Flame Spitter. But because he's only level 1 and because his Flame Spitter is level 1, I'm able to outdamage him with my auto attacks and Qs. I'm running 2190 masteries and flat AD runes. Here I'm going very aggressive for the kill. I was trying to flash forward to get the ignite off, but I was just barely out of range, so I'm not going to be able to finish him off right there. And then again, in typical GBay fashion, I'm going to keep pushing even though I haven't placed down my trinket or anything, and Fiddle will probably be ganking me since he should be finishing up his jungle path. Right now I'm last hitting, doing my best to go ahead and at the very least get some sort of lead on this Rumble, because I am running a little bit low on mana. Typically on Urgot, you want to rush a mana mune, or however you want to say it. Rush a mana mune to make sure that you get some damage as well as all sorts of mana. And here we can see Fiddle is going to be ganking me and picking up first blood for their team, so a little bit of a rough start. I took a few tower hits there, but as I was saying, typically you want to rush a mana mune so you can get all sorts of damage and also have plenty of mana to spam your Q and spam all your abilities to harass people down. But I went for a very aggressive build with that Doran's Blade, and because I didn't get that ignite off and didn't get that early kill, I end up paying the price for it. But as I said earlier, I've made Urgot top lane work before. I've been contemplating trying it out on ranked on my stream, but I haven't been quite that confident just yet. Here we can see this Elise, who's doing a very good job, going ahead and gonna pick up that kill on the Rumble. So right now top lane is completely even, with both top laners being 0-1 and 0, giving kills to the junglers. So what I'm gonna do is just keep on last hitting and wait for Rumble to eventually come back into the top lane. I am still gonna be very aggressive because I should still out damage Rumble. I'm out last hitting him as well because I was able to zone him a bit since I was flashing forward and almost killed him at I think that was level 2 or so, maybe level 3. So right now I'm going to just last hit and be much more careful about Fiddlesticks now that he's ganked me, try to make sure I keep a better eye on the map and ward more often, but things will be much easier for me for the rest of the game now that I'm a little bit woken up. This game was being played at the end of a long day, so I was a little bit tired. No Johns though, of course. Here we do see Rumble getting back to lane, and he's still very aggressive. One of the nice things about Urgot is he does so much damage from harass, and you can tell right there, even though Rumble isn't technically melee, Urgot just wrecks melees in general. He's sort of like Kennen in that sense, but even more so since he has that slow. His W, for those who don't know, gives a slow on his missiles and his auto attacks, just general basic attacks and his missiles. His W is his shield, by the way. So I'm able to get all sorts of harass onto this Rumble, taking him down to very low health again. I'm going to see if I can get a kill, looking for any sort of opportunity, but I am being run very low on mana, so I'm going to be looking to back probably sometime soon, maybe after I clear this minion wave, since Rumble did have a health potion and healed himself back up to about half health. The rest of the team is doing very well. If you take a look at the mini-map, if you take a look at the scoreboard, even though I've given up a kill, we're still up by 1 kill technically, and I am very far ahead from CS. I'm going to be start working towards that tier to build into a mana immune, and then eventually going into a frozen heart. I'm going to get a little magic resistance early on as well, but for the most part, you almost always want to get a frozen heart on Urgot. Urgot gets pretty much all of his damage from his mana immune, and just in general, his mana immune is all he really needs. If we take a look at the CS, we can see I'm still ahead of Rumble by 10 CS, so I'm fairly confident in the laning so far. But as I was saying, generally you almost always want to get a frozen heart on Urgot, since that gives him cooldown reduction, mana, and tankiness. He doesn't need damage, he needs cooldown reduction more than anything else. This Rumble is still being very aggressive on me, even though he isn't level 6 yet, but he did just hit level 6, and I took a lot of damage from minions, so maybe he outplayed me a little bit there, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and last hit these minions, though, see if Rumble maybe backs. If he doesn't, then I'll probably see if I can get a kill, but if he does, I'll obviously just freeze the lane so he can hopefully miss out on some CS. Here, I get a nice slow onto him, and I'm going to be popping my Q as many times as possible to make sure I harass him down as low as possible. Even though Rumble hit 6, I hit 6 myself, and I'm a fairly tanky champion at this point in the game. I think I can 1v1 him if I can get a good little bit of initiation and maybe just dodge his ultimate. Right there, he's being taken very low. Ignite and QE combo would definitely finish off Rumble, so I'm going to be seeing if I can maybe poke him down, maybe just land a stray E, predict where he's going to be. I'm going to skip about 30-40 seconds ahead in the video. There was a bit of an FPS drop right there, but all you can see that's really changed is we've pushed up the lane, Elise has come to help me out, and we're going to be looking to dive this Rumble. Now, Rumble is going to be staying, he misses his ultimate, he gets a nice amount of damage onto both of us, but in the end, it's not going to be enough to kill either one. I'm tanking the tower, I'm going to have to use my flash and ignite, but that's going to be an easy 300 gold for me to finish him off, and then we're going to be looking to run away from this Fiddlesticks who just showed up on top of my trinket that I had placed before we started pushing. Now Elise is going to do some cutesy stuff and maybe see if she can juke him around in some fancy way, and he's going to chase after her, but in the end that's just going to make sure that I live and I'm going to be able to go back to the minions and farm, making sure I get as much of a lead as possible. Now, to be honest with you guys, I think Urgot is a perfectly viable champion for top lane. He provides all sorts of tankiness to a team, he provides all sorts of damage, and he provides a lot of utility, to be honest. He's still not as tanky as other tanks that you can throw in the top lane, and he doesn't provide as much damage or utility as other damage and utility characters you can throw in the top lane, but he does a very good job of laning, and just overall, you can see right here, Fiddle is not going to be able to finish me off. To be honest, you know, it's not that huge of a deal, and I think Fiddle probably could have finished me off if he went a little further forward, or he could have probably finished me off if he dived, but he would have risked dying himself. Right here, I'm going to be picking up some Mercury Treads to deal with Fiddle's ganks, Fiddle's spheres, and his just all the CC that all of them bring to the table. To be honest, Rumble's slow from his ultimate, his slow from his E Fiddle, and everyone on their team provides a decent amount of CC. So Merc Treads is a nice pickup in this game. Right now, we can see the score is definitely in our favor. Two kills in our favor, 4-2. The big thing for me right now, though, is Rumble is 0-2, I'm 1-1, and I'm about 20 CS ahead right now, so I'm going to keep pushing my lead, seeing if I can do as much as possible in the top lane before having a little fun roaming around and seeing if I can get some other kills. Now, Rumble is being very aggressive. He is still convinced that he can 1v1 me, even though I've been doing quite well. Now, I'm not sure if he didn't have wards, but basically what I'm doing here is because he dodged into that brush, I knew the ultimate was coming out, that he would do something kind of cheeky to see if he could finish me off, but we're going to be picking up that kill fairly easily. Because he went into the brush, he could have done one of two things. He might have been trying to juke Elisa's stun, or he was trying to position himself in a way where he could kill me and go 1-for-1, so I just played the safe route, cut off any sort of escapes that he had, and went ahead and took the easy kill. Even if I didn't get it myself, it's obviously much better. We were going to get the kill anyway to make sure nobody died for it. I'm gonna just keep on farming the way I have been, and if you take a look at the CS sometime soon, you'll see for the most part of this game I have pretty much the most amount of CS out of anyone, the most amount on my team, and me and Varus actually, the Varus on the other team, trade for most amount of CS in the game. So overall, as I was saying, I think Urgot definitely is underrated as a champion in general, and also a little underrated as a top laner. Back in Season 1, I'm not sure if any of you remember this, but back in Season 1, Europe was the only region that really ran AD carries and supports in the bottom lane. NA mostly threw certain top laners as AD carries sometimes, like Chaos would run AD carry Corki sometimes. Again, just trading with Rumble because I deal more damage. It's like a broken record at this point. But as I was saying, back in Season 1, NA pretty much ran mostly top laners as AD carries, and then the tanks and the supports would go in the bottom lane. You would run people like Jarvan and Taric, so you would have all sorts of CC and all sorts of stuff like that that could dive onto carries but would overall have to be passive. We eventually moved over to the AD carry support bottom lane, but in the end I think Urgot can definitely be a sustainable top laner just because of the fact that he has tankiness in addition to some utility and CC. Sort of like Season 1, there's a number of AD carries that can control solo lanes. Quinn is another big one, but I think the fact that Urgot has tankiness is something that's really interesting, and I've enjoyed playing him top lane. I say I have a pocket Urgot, and I might try him out on stream if you guys are interested. Maybe not until I finally hit Diamond, though. I definitely don't want to lose a promotional match or anything because of some goofy play like that. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my Man Immune, which is going to be pretty much the only AD item I buy, along with some wards to make sure if Fiddle ganks. I'm not too worried about it, but if he does, I want to make sure that I have some prior knowledge that's not just relying on my trinket. Taking a look at that CS, you can see I have most CS on my team. Varus is 5 CS ahead on theirs, so as I said, I'll be trading with him back and forth, but yeah, this was definitely a very fun game for me. I've been trying to play more champions and do more things that I enjoy overall, and I definitely love running unusual characters in unusual lanes. Urgot top lane is one of my favorite because he does very well in most situations, not just because he's a strong laner, but because he also fits into a lot of the top lane criteria to be a good top laner, as I've been saying. As we all know, Rumble's been having a very rough game so far, but we are going to see if we can pick up maybe 1 or 2 more kills on him as soon as possible to see if we can take this top tower and gain some map control. Nobody's taken any towers yet, and there hasn't really been any global gold distribution, but we do have an advantage in kills, so we're going to try and push that as much as possible. Right here you can see Elise ganking. She's going to do a nice job taking Rumble below half health. He is going to ult onto me. I'm going to tank most of the tower hits, but we are going to be able to finish him off. I get taken very low, and Fiddlesticks does show up, so he's going to be able to finish off Elise, but overall, that was another instance where we were able to take another kill based on some really solid map presence. If you take a look at all the wards we have on the mini-map and just see, in general, we have a lot of control. That's one of the issues that a lot of lower ratings have, I feel. A lot of people don't necessarily know how to translate their winning lane into a won game. People say win lane, win game, and then they complain when they don't, say, what the hell, I won lane but lost game, my team sucks. In the end, you still have to be able to translate that win into usefulness for your team, into map control, into some global gold, and just overall try to make yourself as useful as possible and be as good as possible for the entire game, not just winning the lane against your opponent, because your opponent can always pick up some kills and some sort of lucky or just flat out skillful team play. You know, you can always pick up some last hit some kills in team fights, and that can always swing someone back around very, very quickly, especially if they do decently well into the mid and late game. Back to top lane though. Typical stuff, but so far we can see that Rumble is going to be much more passive. He's probably warded at this point, and we do see a lot of their characters are missing in action, so I'm not going to be doing too much. I'm going to be maybe, as you can see, just 1v1ing him right here, but not overextending too far. Here I am going to overextend though, since I do take him down to enough half health, and he's pretty much guaranteed to be dead. That's one of the things about Urgot that's so strong, the fact that he's he's a champion that you can't necessarily get away from. You can't really get away once he hits you with his E, which is, it's sort of like a nice combination between Yorick, I'd say, and anyone with a skill shot. We all know Yorick is very frustrating to lane against when you have him just spamming his ghouls at you, taking you below health. It's nice to play Urgot, to be honest, because you have a very similar mechanic where you can basically get three free spells onto your opponent, 3 free auto attacks that are powered up with your, you know, being your Q. But it still takes some skill to land your E, and it still takes some skill to go ahead and actually translate that. That's what I'm sort of hoping for the Yorick rework. Here I'm getting ganked by Fiddlesticks, but I do see that they aren't going to be able to chase me because I'm going to be able to flash over that wall. I accidentally stopped there for a second, but I see Victor coming up, and I'm going to be able to get away from this fairly safely. Victor has a lot of disengage. I see Fizz is very low, so I'm going to go over here and see if I can bait him. I see him popping up. I almost land my E. I miss it. He flashes forward. He flashes forward right into my Q, and then just right-click for the auto attack. Fiddle ults over trying to kill me, but he's not going to be able to do anything with all 3 of us here. A little bit too aggressive by him, and maybe I was closer to the wall when he started ulting, but in the end I am going to be able to live out of that, and we are going to be able to take this tower. I'm not looking at the minimap though, so I don't realize I'm running right into Varus and Thresh. They are going to be able to finish me off, but again, because we have our whole team here, we're going to be able to finish both of them off as well. This has been a very fun game for me. I enjoy playing Urgot, as I've been saying, and I've enjoyed, I really did enjoy playing in this game specifically. I'm contemplating what to buy because, as I said earlier, you pretty much want to rush a Frozen Heart on Urgot, but I feel the need to get some magic resistance since I think 4 out of 5 of their characters. Varus is the only real AD that they have. Even their jungle is a Fiddlesticks who does all that AP. I am going to be picking up the Frozen Heart though, just to get some armor for Varus, who did just recently kill me, and go ahead and make sure I'm tanky on all accounts. Poor Rumble is 0-5-0 right now. He's trying to make himself useful, take down this top tower. I almost feel bad for him at this point. I'm double his CS at 140. He's at 78, 143 to 78. Again, trading back and forth with Varus. But right now, I'm going to be, again, seeing if I can get a kill on this Rumble top lane. If you take a look, there's very few situations where I don't deal enough damage. One of the nice things about playing Urgot is you only really need a Manamune for damage. You can get a Bloodthirster afterwards if you feel like your opponents are dealing, if you feel like you want to deal more damage, if you don't need the tankiness. If you truly don't need the tankiness, you're positioning perfectly, or if you're playing as your team's AD carry. And as also, you might also want to pick up some armor pen. That's the only other thing that you might want to get. Pick up a Last Whisper if they're stacking armor to deal with you. I'm going to be maxing my W second. Generally, I max my first skill. That's the best skill. In this case, it's my Q. And then go back and forth with my other 2 skills on certain champions that I don't know 100% the way I do with characters like Aurelia or Kennen or Yorick or, you know, characters that I main. But I do like maxing W second. W is a really strong skill on Urgot because that's where his slow comes from. I'm not quite sure if I mentioned this earlier, but you get an increased slow. I think it's up to 40%. When your shield is active, you get that slow from your auto attacks and your missiles, your Qs, which I think I touched on earlier, but maxing your W does increase that slow, in addition to increasing the shield. I think it costs more mana, but once you build your Manamune, you should have your Manamune by the time you're maxing your second skill. Right here, I'm going to see if I can harass down that Rumble on the tip of my tongue as much as possible. Here it looks like they're both going to kill me, so what I'm going to do is ult onto Rumble to get in closer position to hopefully get nearby Elise. Elise is going to land a nice stun as we pick up an easy kill on Fiddlesticks with my Ignite, and then Rumble's dead in the water once he's, you know, he's still 0-6-0 or something like that around this point in the game. So that was some nice play. Urgot's ultimate also gives him some armor and some magic resistance, I think, as well. So it's a very nice ult if you want to use to escape, or if you're trading with someone 1 versus 1. Even if the positioning isn't that big of a deal, you can still ult onto someone to get tankiness and have a guaranteed area where they'll be to land your E. But right there, it was nice of me, and that's another thing that Urgot players, if you want to pick up Urgot or if you want to play him yourself, try to make sure you're able to use his ultimate in all sorts of ways. Right there, I don't think I would have been able to live if I just ulted Fiddlesticks, or if I wasn't aware of ulting onto Rumble to get closer to Elise so she can help me live. 4-2-4 right now, doing very well. Most CS in the game, more CS than our AD carry even. Right now, I'm a little bit bored of top lane, to be honest, and I do feel bad for this Rumble. I'm gonna be going mid lane. You guys say you don't necessarily like watching gameplay videos where I just stomp on everyone, but I just felt the need to share my top lane Urgot with you, and every time I play him, you know, I just dominate. So it was either share him and have a dominant game, or not share him at all and show you guys games where I struggle. But anyway, getting back into the game. Right now, they haven't exposed inhib, so we're just... at this point, it's pretty much basic tactics. I don't think I need to explain this to you guys anymore. Basic tactics of transitioning from a lead into a victory. They haven't exposed inhib, we win team fights, so gonna go ahead, be as aggressive as possible in true Jibei fashion once again. That Varus is being taken very low, so I'm thinking right now about flashing forward and ulting him, but when I get all this damage onto Thresh, we're going to be forcing him to flash away, and then it's a free inhibitor. I do ult onto the Fizz, which is the worst possible target I could have ulted onto, because of the fact that he does have that escape. You don't want to ult onto anyone with an escape, but it doesn't really matter. You can see all the damage that I'm tanking. I'm not even at half health at this point, despite the fact that I had 1 or 2 ultimates. Part of that is because Urgot's a very tanky champion, but part of that is just because the rest of my team has been doing pretty much as well as I have. Right there, picking up another kill onto Varus, and we're going to see if we can take at least 1 Nexus tower at this point. We get Fiddlesticks very low, Elise picking up the triple kill as she finishes him off. Thresh throws down his exhaust onto Elise. Elise is going to see if she can kill him in the fountain, but Thresh does knock her back into the fountain himself and pick up that kill with the help of the fountain turret. We're going to finish off this second tower, but now I want to finish the game at this point, but the rest of my team is a little bit too scared. You'll see I keep on turning around here to try and land as many Qs as possible. I dodge the Thresh hook, but accidentally get fidgeted with that because of it. Fizz does end up finishing her off, but because I'm Urgot, I'm going to be able to finish him off very easily. That's another thing that Urgot has a lot of chase potential. A lot of champions have a decent amount of chase potential, but Urgot, with the fact that he has that huge range and the slow as well, it's just huge. Here, we do a bit of a bait onto Thresh, getting him with that stun, pretty much ensuring his death, but then we switch on to Rumble once he starts attacking me. We're going to finish him off. At this point, I am very low, and I've run out of mana, so I'm not going to be able to ult anyone or do anything, so I'm just going to run away and make sure I live. I'm 5-2-9 right now. I'm doing very well, and I don't want to give any extra gold to the enemy team. Varus was charging up his shot there, and I sort of figured, so I took the route that was as far away as possible, where he would hopefully not hit me, which he obviously didn't. Here I'm going to pick up a Banshee's Veil for all this magic resistance to hopefully also make it more difficult for someone like Fizz or Fiddlesticks to initiate onto me. Fiddlesticks can't just ult in on the perfect opportunity. They have to focus on bursting me down first. I'm going to work towards a Bloodthirster because I'm having a lot of fun this game and I want to see how much damage I can deal and how much utility I can bring to the table. Everyone's doing very well this game. If you take a look at that scoreboard, everyone in the game is just doing fantastic. Even our Sivir right now, who hasn't gotten any kills, is 0-2-11, 11 assists, which obviously could be better. You don't want that on your AD carry, but still, dealing plenty of damage. And now we're going to be pushing forward to see if we can hopefully end the game sometime soon. I always feel like this is the point in game commentaries where I'm not quite too sure what to say. Either we've pretty much won or lost the game, unless it's a very exciting close game. At this point, the game's been pretty much decided, and I have pretty much said all that I can say about my play and everyone's play in the game. So as the game is finishing up, as we're pushing into their base to take out their Nexus, I will go ahead and plug all my usual stuff, saying tell me what you guys thought of this, if you'd like to see more. The Art of League series, which I know everyone loves, is ending. Unfortunately, we only have so many chapters of the Art of War, and the big finale, which is going to encompass the last 3 chapters, is going to be coming out sometime soon. So I'd like to get a little bit of a series to not necessarily replace that, but make sure I'm still bringing plenty of content and plenty of series out on a regular basis. Here in the game, they're going to focus everything on me, all those ultimates, but again, I'm Urgot, not going to be able to do too much with that. I am curious, though, if you guys like this, or if you guys are interested in more gameplay commentaries. I also have a lot of other weird champions that I enjoy playing. You guys have seen the Poppy, now you've seen the top lane Urgot. Tell me if there's anything you'd like to see in comments below. Here I'm going to 1v1 Fizz, where it's sort of just showing, even though I do get the Lulu ultimate and all sorts of help from Lulu, he's not really able to do much anything against me. Not many of them are at this point in the game, but that, again, that's sort of half Urgot being an interesting, a very tanky AD carry, and then half of it just being we're fed, they're not. I do hope you guys have enjoyed this game, though. If you guys are interested in watching me stream, I'm going to be streaming at the time of this video's release for about, hopefully around at least 5 hours, between 5 and 7 hours. You've just watched like a 20-minute video, a 25-minute video, so you won't be able to see the whole stream if you've made it this far. But if you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching the whole thing. I know you guys have a lot of time, you don't have that much time in your day. I always feel like I wish there were more hours in the day, and I always wish that there was more I could do with each and every day. So I do appreciate you taking a decent amount of chunk of your time to watch this video. Do tell me, though, whether you guys enjoy longer videos like this. I'll sort of use the view count to describe, or the view count to sort of gauge how interested you guys are in longer videos and gameplay commentaries, but I do hope you have enjoyed, and now let's go ahead and win this game. Here, I'm going to be trying to land my E onto absolutely everyone. I'm being taken very low on mana because I'm spamming so much. You can see I am basically 1v3ing, trying to zone all these people out. Fiddlesticks is going to be taken very low with the Zonias. The tower hits me. I don't even care. Lulu ults me. Fizz isn't going to do any damage. He gets deleted. I pick up that kill. Varus gets deleted. I'm going to pick up that kill as well. Double kill for the Urgot. I am now 8, 2, and 10. We're going to finish off this inhib and then start working on the Nexus. Poor old Rumble is going to do his best to fight till the very end. Thresh, seeing if he can do anything, but I'm going to go ahead. We're going to finish off this Nexus, and we're going to win this game that I played of top lane Urgot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave all sorts of criticism, positive and negative feedback in the comments below, but until next time, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.